Can you guess how ubiquitous artificial intelligence really is? Well, its market size is expected to reach a whopping $184 billion in 2024. So, you can get the idea. In a world where AI elicits a growing economy, is it actually possible to forge the use of AI in every sphere of our urban life? Before getting into that, imagine ChatGPT's latest version writing a lengthy blog post on spaceships. Yes, it won't cut through like a human with a precision level of 100%, but it will simplify the research and writing to a great extent, while saving you plenty of time. And if you notice the broader picture in megacities with skyscrapers and streets buzzing with energy, you will find that AI-driven solutions tackle traffic congestion and energy efficiency, and all of this contributes to the economy to a greater deal. There's no doubt the economies of different countries keep growing at their own pace. So today, let's explore the economy of tomorrow, where the AI revolution and the rise of megacities molds the future of our economy. The world has to conjure up all the emerging challenges as it develops, right? So, a question arises. How do we create stronger, inclusive economies and build a sustainable future for everyone? How do we protect our cities and implement technology for the greater good? Well, humanity has always lived on forward thinking, and that's exactly why we must put our best foot forward to tackle tomorrow's problems, which comprise inequality, sustainability, urbanization, gender gaps, and demographic shifts. Right now, we stand at the edge of a fourth industrial revolution. This will redefine our work, lives, and humanity. A group of technologies like AI, 3D printing, robotics, big data, genetics, and medical imaging are converging. These are also driving transformative changes across industries. However, this revolution may be even more disruptive. Previous revolutions changed how things were made, which focused more on factories and heavy industry. Now, we see transformations in industry and services with entirely new business models. What's unique about this revolution is its impact on things we thought only humans could do. In fact, human jobs are now being replaced by technology. By and large, this fourth industrial revolution is driven mostly by artificial intelligence. AI has already taken the human cognitive abilities with almost similar precision, or to some extent, even more. This development is drastically changing how we live and interact. Algorithms and machines perform tasks that required human analytical skills in the past. Although we are in the early stages of AI, there are enormous potential benefits. For example, self-autonomous cars are a prominent example of AI application, which can make transportation safer and more driving-friendly. In numbers, there are 250 car manufacturers involved in fully autonomous vehicle production. Older people will be benefiting from this the most, since they rely on others for transportation. With self-driving cars, they could regain independence and mobility. Big data is another concept of revolution. Big data means larger and more complex data sets that come from new data sources. These massive volumes of data can be used to address business problems that you wouldn't have been able to tackle before. It helps with drug development and enables faster discovery of new medicines. Computers can analyze vast amounts of data and find connections that humans might miss. This capability is beneficial for tackling rare diseases and those affecting diverse populations differently. For more reference, one of the most promising approaches in pharmaceutical industry has been the use of big data to improve the drug discovery process. Drug discovery is a resource-intensive process that involves numerous stages, from target identification to clinical trials. Big data has the potential to transform every step of the drug discovery process by providing vast amounts of information and insights that were previously unavailable. A study suggested that the estimated value of big data in the healthcare industry could be worth more than $300 billion per year in the United States alone. Also, for another example, curing cancer might as well come from advancements in data science. But This technological revolution also has a downside. It could actually alter the job market, especially in areas with technological advancements. That will lead to job losses and shifts in employment. A clear example of upcoming job shifts is in truck driving. With self-driving trucks, the need for the 3.5 million truck drivers in the US would soon take a nosedive. But that doesn't mean the workers replaced by the technology would need to sit idly and do nothing. To contend with today's world where technology like AI dominates, those displaced workers need to hone in on their skills to perfectly match with newly created opportunities. That still doesn't guarantee that anyone working on their skills would always land a job, but the goal here is to replace lost jobs with new opportunities in different sectors. As history shows, past industrial revolutions eventually led to new job creation, and there's hope this pattern will continue. If this transition doesn't occur, there could be a severe impact. Martin Ford, who is a software entrepreneur, foresees a future where hundreds of millions of skilled workers could be unemployed. Looking ahead, no job in our economy is entirely safe. Not even the jobs of artists and novelists that we think is beyond AI's reach. Millions of jobs will likely be gone in years, and no one knows if new opportunities will turn heads to those deprived workers. Ford's book, The Rise of the Robots, states that machines and smart algorithms will inevitably replace human labor. That means it will also cause unemployment, along with other societal challenges. Don't be shocked to know, some of these advanced machines are already in use. Now, algorithms can interpret body language, respond to emotions, and work out your mood. This technology is transforming customer service interactions, marketing strategies, and even mental health support. Eko GPT by Mindstream says, these systems can interpret facial expressions, vocal tones, and body language to identify feelings like happiness, sadness, anger, or surprise. Also, emotion recognition AI relies on machine learning models trained on large datasets of annotated emotional data. These models include convolutional neural networks, CNNs, for facial expressions, recurrent neural networks, RNNs, for speech and text, and support vector machines, SVMs, distinguishing between different emotional states. This is also implicated in advertising, where ads can be made precisely to your emotional state. Language translation technologies are also becoming more important, while enabling real-time translation. This transcends language barriers for anyone looking to work with the foreign clients and dealing with any nation's people without feeling the void in language proficiency. In the first decade of this century, the US created barely any new jobs compared to the number of people left unemployed. Martin added, the trend of jobless recovery shows that during recessions, jobs take a tumble as usual. But when recovery happens, companies scrimped by investing more on technology instead of rehiring. In this era of automation backed up by AI, technology also makes any organization's hardest work the cinch. Therefore, less urgency is felt in the employment sector, hence for the untapped jobs. As a result, jobs take longer to return. Technology has always shaken up economies and societies, and we're seeing its impact again today. In the late 19th century, half of US workers were on farms. By 2000, it was less than 2%, with those workers moving to other sectors. That transformation of agriculture was driven by specific mechanical technologies, whereas today's artificial intelligence impacts every sector. There is no breath of relief for workers as AI scales across all industries. The total data stored is exorbitant, as it exceeds 1,000 billion gigabytes. Corporations gather data on customers, business operations, industrial processes, and employee activities. This data fuels smart algorithms and enables them to learn and improve their functions. Today, you'll commonly hear that computers only follow their programming. But this idea is outdated due to machine learning. Modern algorithms can analyze data, learn from it, and make predictions independently. Computers are no longer dependent on human instructions for every step. They can figure things out themselves through continuous iterations. Imagine a future where every smartphone, home appliance, and heavy-duty industrial equipment communicates with each other. Well, AI will use this interconnection to become more intelligent. The last major tech revolution saw robots replacing millions of blue-collar jobs in factories. This new wave will also disrupt white-collar jobs. Once a computer learns a task, it can be replicated across countless machines. It is similar to training one worker and then cloning them. This scalability of machine learning means many jobs that require someone to analyze and learn from are at risk. If your job involves routine, it's likely an algorithm could eventually take care of it. This affects educated and well-paid workers. Anyone doing routine knowledge work in front of a computer could be replaced by an algorithm. Routine tasks like producing the same report or analysis repeatedly are more vulnerable to automation. Journalism is already feeling this impact. Systems can convert data into news stories that are hardly differentiated from human write-up. In theory, up to 90% of news stories might be machine-generated. A study by Oxford University suggests that up to half of all jobs in various countries could be automated in the next 20 years. In the United States, this could actually affect 60 million jobs. For reference, 300 million jobs could be lost to AI, and 44% of companies using AI believe it will result in layoffs in 2024. Another scary part is, it's also been predicted that by the end of the decade, 14% of workers will have been forced by AI to change career. Such widespread job loss would put tremendous stress on government resources, as many people would lose their income sources. This could also trigger a severe economic downturn because of a drop in consumer spending, as fewer people would have the money to buy goods and services. A technological revolution of this scale wouldn't just change the economy, it would deeply impact society. It could lead to extreme inequality, possibly causing civil unrest, riots, or even large crime waves. Similar to the Great Depression, when the US faced 25% unemployment, there was fear about the collapse of democracy and capitalism. You might imagine the current situation to feel like a science fiction nightmare come to life. Even prominent figures like Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk have expressed concerns about advanced artificial intelligence. They worry we might create super-intelligent machines that are way smarter than any human. Such machines might not find humans useful and could decide to eliminate us. This is not a far-fetched concern and should not be taken lightly. If you think about it deeply, there is no limit to how far AI can develop. Robots are becoming more prevalent in our lives as they take over repetitive tasks, which can lower product costs and impact the labor market. Martin Ford's books emphasize the job market threat, but he also sees AI's potential benefits in healthcare. The economic burden in the US benefits from the application of AI and robotics in healthcare. Analysts predicted the AI healthcare market to generate over $6 billion by 2021, which is a 10-fold increase. Companies like Hindsight in New Jersey and Analytic in California are using data to enhance patient outcomes. In New York, IBM's Watson defines its potential in healthcare. Watson manifests a comprehensive understanding of the email writer's personalities based on those messages' tone and messages. For example, if someone writes emails in a very polite tone, it can detect that the person may have an empathetic personality. It can also extract concepts and their relationships from encyclopedias. For instance, it might link heart disease with cholesterol and diet, showing how they are related. Watson sifts through billions of facts and figures in cyberspace using big data and finds hidden insights. From a perspective, the vast amount of data holds immense knowledge and insights we're currently unable to extract. IBM is utilizing Watson in a research project to enhance medical professionals' capabilities. They particularly focus on treating severe diseases like skin cancer. Melanoma is a deadly skin cancer and requires early detection. Dermatologists assess lesions for melanoma, but errors occur. Some melanomas are missed, and some benign lesions are unnecessarily removed. And Watson tends to reduce these errors. We can now ask computers to deeply analyze images, When you send an image to the computer, it automatically analyzes it, and it can determine with high accuracy whether it is melanoma or not, often as much as 95%. This provides a better result than the 75 to 84% accuracy, which top clinical experts can usually give. However, it doesn't imply that clinicians are to take the back seat just because this AI-powered computer has taken every last drop of the expertise of the clinicians who are still required at the back end of such technologies. Rather, it can support them by providing additional analysis from large databases of similar lesions. Therefore, we can expect to have a future where humans and machines will work together side by side, with machines sorting the large database to give the precise information on which humans can draw conclusions. For say, while AI analyzing the large datasets to suggest a potential diagnosis, human doctors can reinforce their clinical judgment based on their clinical knowledge. It is hoped that every professional worldwide has a personal cognitive assistant to help with their daily tasks. Just as past industrial revolutions, such as tractors or steam engines, have made the physical tasks of the human way easier, the next one, such as AI, will boost our cognitive capabilities to think, learn, and make decisions more rationally and independently. Martin Ford remains cautious and believes that AI will change our lives and work. He warns that we are not ready for the disruptions, particularly in the job market, and their impact on average incomes and livelihoods. In the short term, things might become difficult. But if we adapt, there is reason to be optimistic about the future. Imagine a near-utopian future where technology handles dangerous, disliked, or monotonous jobs. If we achieve this, it could be one of humanity's greatest advancements. However, adapting to this change will be challenging. We are in the age of the city, where more people live in urban areas than rural ones. The urban population grows by 70 million people each year, and 301 cities produce 50% of global GDP, which is expected to reach 66% by 2025. Cities are vital for the global economy and progress, but they can also be sources of chaos. This dual nature makes cities both alluring and essential. They offer risks, but also significant opportunities. Urbanization is driven by these opportunities as well. People move from farms to cities for jobs, culture, and a better life. Cities provide greater access to schools, healthcare, employment, and create a more secure economic existence. In 1900, 12 of the world's largest cities were in North America or Europe. By 2000, this number dropped to just 2. Future megacities will mostly be in the developing economies of Asia and Africa. Most urban growth will occur in China, India, and Nigeria, which will account for 37% of the world's urban population. For instance, Lagos, Nigeria, grows by the population of Boston every year. While the urbanization rate in the US and Japan is over 70%, China's is still at 50%, meaning its cities will either grow larger or increase in number. This trend is expected to be mirrored in other markets, with large populations over the next 50 years. The growth of cities presents significant challenges. The major risks facing cities include political issues, governance, climate change, economic inequality, productivity, employment, education, and transportation. One city grappling with these problems is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Alessandra Orofino, who is an urban activist, is working to address these issues. She believes the world's largest cities risk collapsing under poverty, failing infrastructure, and citizen apathy. Without change, billions could suffer. Managing megacities is a global challenge. Rio de Janeiro's metro area is usually visited by around 12 million people. This city offers beauty, but faces issues like crime, inequality, and poverty. Alessandra has worked in megacities across 3 continents and collaborated with the United Nations on Sustainable Development Goals. She founded Mayu Rio, an NGO using citizen data to address urban growth problems. With 170,000 activists, Mayu Rio aims to become a model for other growing cities. She emphasizes building on a rich tradition of neighborhood movements and adapting them for the 21st century. As she was born in Rio, she has experienced its extremes firsthand. her father from a poor, dangerous neighborhood, and her mother from a wealthy area. This dual perspective highlighted Rio's potential and its harsh inequalities. This city emulates many megacities, with some areas as affluent as the world's richest, while others remain impoverished and disconnected. Bridging this gap is a crying need indeed. Cities are the natural center point for economic growth with their density and diversity. However, unplanned growth leads to gridlocked streets, polluted air, and inadequate infrastructure. Alessandra's city expanded too quickly, lacking essential services like sidewalks, sewage systems, and schools. In megacities, mobility is also a challenge. Poor transportation systems limit access to opportunities and experiences, especially for the poor. This segregation means everyone stays in their own area and misses out on the diverse experiences that cities offer. The reality is, the poor often bear the brunt of urban expansion and become deprived of economic opportunities. In developing regions, 1/3 of the population lives in slums, another reality we cannot ignore. Slums are a result of unplanned growth and, unfortunately, house an estimated 863 million people globally. For reference, if India's 104 million slum dwellers formed a country, it would be the 13th most populous. Yet slums aren't hopeless. Residents often build their own infrastructure due to the absence of government support. In Rio, for example, slum communities have constructed much of their own infrastructure. Urban planners face challenges in improving these areas while respecting the community's efforts. However, poorly managed interventions can damage the vital social fabric. In Rio's Santa Teresa neighborhood, you'll find a beautifully historic tram. It symbolizes the need to balance preservation and improvement. In the early 20th century, most trams in Rio were destroyed. However, the residents of Santa Teresa organized and kept their tram. This once forgotten neighborhood became poorer, but has gentrified over the past 5 to 6 years. The government decided to transform the tram into a source of tourist attraction. And the residents claimed that the tram only survived due to their efforts. They created the value of the community, and it became a story that the world witnessed. Alessandra thinks cities often overlook such grassroots creativity, which leads to a democratic deficit. This breaks the trust in the city's government and alienates vulnerable communities. She thinks that for cities to expand successfully, they must involve their citizens. No city has truly utilized its citizens' collective intelligence or distributed power effectively. When we get this right, many urban issues will be resolved. In order to flourish our city's potential, we need to heal internal divisions. Building unequal, unsustainable cities detracts from their livability and happiness. The worst-case scenario for future cities is lack of soulfulness, which makes them unattractive to entrepreneurs. Across the ocean, there is Lagos. It's Africa's most economically important city, but it faces severe growing pains and threatens the future of its 21 million residents. Cities are growing faster than ever, but many, like Lagos in Nigeria, can't keep up. Lagos is the largest city in the world without a citywide rail system. It forces everyone to travel by road. For ordinary workers like Abraham Cole, this means his daily commute is a major burden. He wakes up at 3:30 a.m., skips breakfast to save time, and faces a commute that should take 45 minutes. But it often takes 6 to 7 hours due to traffic. Sadly, this daily ordeal leaves him with little time for his family, whom he only sees on weekends. Lagos's population has nearly doubled from 11 million to 21 million in just 3 years. Despite having an economy larger than Kenya's, Lagos is ranked among the top 5 least livable cities in the world. The city's workers face daily struggles just to reach their desks, which makes their life challenging, frustrating, and of course, exhausting. Lagos sees 2,000 new residents daily, which pushes its infrastructure to the brink and expands the city into the sea. This growth has led to slums like Makoko, a floating settlement on the lagoon. basic services like clean water and electricity lag behind population growth here. Makoko is the oldest slum in Lagos and houses 80,000 people in stilt-supported buildings connected by canals. Here, residents have created their own infrastructure, including fresh water and electricity. The 3-story floating school in Makoko is also used as a community center. It was constructed in 2013 in an affordable and easy way. Designers hope it will inspire future buildings. Makoko raises questions about governance, as locals have been improving their area with schools and projects. However, the central government has plans for the area too. Projects like Eko Atlantic can raise questions, particularly about the impact on local residents. However, these large-scale developments have a chance to build comprehensive structures, including schools, hospitals, offices, and transportation. By doing so, it gives cities like Lagos a model for growth if planned and executed well. Moving on, if you look at the workforce worldwide, you'll notice it's dominated by men. In the Middle East and North Africa, only 25% of women are economically active. Women perform 75% of unpaid work globally. And, in North American companies, 25% of women feel their gender has held them back. With women making up half the population, they deserve an equal chance to contribute to the economy. Only about 5% of the largest companies are run by women, and less than 20% of corporate board members are women. In the US Congress, only 20% of elected officials are women, and women earn about 79 cents for every dollar men earn. This gender gap has persisted for a long time. Organizations with power, such as government, big companies, education, and medical systems, are still predominantly led by men. This is due to historical factors, and breaking the glass ceiling is a slow process. Nearly 100 years after women in the US gained the right to vote, the gender gap remains a global issue. Closing the gender gap has become an economic imperative, and it is discussed at Davos and in boardrooms. It presents a market opportunity in a way that if it's ignored, there will be potential loss. Companies with diverse workforces are more likely to succeed. McKinsey's study shows that equalizing women's economic contributions by 2025 could add a whopping $26 trillion to the global economy. It's evident that female voices at the top positively impact businesses. Also, companies led by female CEOs or chairwomen have better corporate governance, avoid poison pills, and maintain fair voting rights. Despite the absence of board elections, companies with strong governance are more likely to appoint female CEOs. The prevailing question is, what prevents women from reaching the highest ranks? Is it a lack of ambition or age-old sexism? Around 43% of professional women stop their careers to manage caregiving responsibilities, especially for children or elderly relatives. And returning to work at the same level after a gap proves to be difficult. It contrasts with their existing male counterparts. Anne-Marie Slaughter is a former senior State Department official. She believes that structural barriers in workplaces and societies hinder women's advancement. She cautions that without necessary reforms, both corporations and governments are at risk of significant underperformance. While women were once promised they could have it all, obstacles prevent them from attaining top positions in business and government. About Slaughter, she had an influential role in shaping US foreign policy under Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for 2 years. Currently, she leads the influential Washington, D.C. think tank, New America. This organization gained recognition with a notable 2012 article in The Atlantic, which eventually grew into a book. She emerged as a powerful advocate for women's empowerment, emphasizing the importance of the feminist movement in achieving equality with men in both job satisfaction and positions of power. Slaughter believes that both men and women can achieve a balance between fulfilling careers and family life. However, she also recognizes the need for systemic reforms to overcome existing barriers. During her time at the State Department, she faced demanding hours that took a toll on her family life. She commuted weekly from Princeton to Washington, dedicating extensive hours to her position. However, she went through personal challenges, like her son's turbulent adolescence as well. Despite Secretary Clinton's support, Slaughter ultimately confronted the choice between her high-level professional aspirations and her family's well-being. Finally, her decision to leave this cherished career in Washington impacted her professional perspective. Alongside, it challenged her long-held feminist beliefs. She had long encouraged women to persevere through hard work. She feels that current structures make it nearly impossible for women to balance a career with caregiving responsibilities, which is seen as a woman's traditional role. This dual burden places women at a disadvantage compared to those solely focused on their careers. She appreciates Nordic countries like Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and Norway as examples, where such policies have led to bridge the gender gaps in employment. These nations prioritize investments in maternity and paternity leave, with incentives for fathers to take extended leave. That's how they promote gender equality in workforce participation and caregiving responsibilities. She also criticizes societal norms where men are seen as foolish for not taking parental leave. She urges men to embrace caregiving roles as adeptly as women. In Scandinavia, this cultural transformation is evident. They have policies that encourage men to take paternity leave and view such actions positively in terms of personal character. Despite progress, women still face challenges in sustaining leadership roles in business and politics. Anne-Marie Slaughter attributes the gender gap to how businesses and governments handle family life. She also draws attention to Sweden's reputation as a gender-equal nation, which is supported by combining career and family responsibilities. While Sweden leads in gender equality efforts, they also deserve praise for achieving true parity in leadership and workforce representation. Companies like TDC promote gender equality through policies like generous parental leave. Such policies contribute to a happier and more productive workforce. TDC is a leading telecommunications company in Denmark, which has a revenue of just under 16.05 billion Danish kroner as of 2022. They allow parental leave for almost 9,000 employees and offer fathers full salary for 16 weeks of paternity leave. This supports families while improving employee satisfaction and productivity in the Nordic context. To put things into perspective, the broader implications extend beyond individual careers. It encompasses economic growth, innovation, and environmental sustainability. So, we can hope for future generations to have an inclusive society. And all individuals should be able to contribute their skills and viewpoints to tackle global challenges effectively. It's absolutely evident AI is revolutionizing industries, and megacities are becoming the economic powerhouses of the future. By embracing innovation, promoting inclusive economies, and combining the interplay between AI and urbanization, we can create a sustainable future. As we look to the future, the opportunities are immense and waiting to be explored to uplift the economy of tomorrow.